Okay, to begin with, you should create a text document and type up some content to be used in your composition. Now, this is easy enough to then, in creating this content, to create something that makes sense. A sentence or so that you could break up, or a series of text. Again, we are going to require at least 4 frames. So come up with 4 statements, 4 words that make, and again, in succession, explain, and always include the name of the project and the inevitable URL to some extent. Again, keeping in theme with your final project. Also collect some imagery that you're going to be needing for composition, including a logo or symbol or some other source of identifier that correlates with, again, the name of your project. Here, so I've got some images. I might not use them all. Again, you will though be required to use at least 4 images and a logo. So we got all that here. So to begin, we are required to create a image that is going to be 600 pixels by 150 by 72. So we will set a Photoshop document up to those specifics. So File, New. We'll name it right from the very beginning appropriately. This is assignment 6, and I might as well just name it 1. I'm going to jump right down here and type in a width of 150 and a resolution of 72. And also I'm going to pick a background color. Now I have a specific color that I want to use here. And I'm just going to type that right in. No, in fact, I think I'll just type it right in here. So I can go ahead and have an exact color that my client has specified for me. Click OK. And there's my background color. And that would be a background. So I have my option of using a non-white background color. Next thing I'm going to do is make sure that I have my rulers are showing, because I'm going to be creating some guidelines. Now in this case, if they're not being shown, go ahead and go down to rulers, Command R, and the rulers should appear. They should also be reading pixels. If they are not reading pixels, right-click on the ruler at the top of the page there and select pixels and begin. Now in this case, you can create guidelines in a different manner. One quick and easy way to do it, if you want to find the center or an edge of a layer, is to simply click on the ruler of your choice and begin to drag out, and you will notice there a guideline should appear. I'm going to drag one all the way to the edge there, and they should just snap right to the edge if you let it. You can also place one right at the very center, which I'm going to go ahead and go do. Again, they could snap right in there. Another way to create a guideline, which has a lot more control to it, if you want an exact location, would be a new guides. In this case, I'm going to create a safe area for my text. A safe area which will, so I don't get too close to the edge of my content. I'm going to create a vertical guide at 20 pixels, one right there. I'm also going to create a new guide at the top of the page from horizontal. And in my case, I'm going to be placing all my text in this area and be placing imagery in this area. So I just want to put some guides in this particular area. And so one more new guide on the bottom, on the horizontal there at 130. And then from the center, I can place a new guide at 280 on the vertical, and that will give me an area for my text. And now I got that much set up. I'm going to go ahead and save and make sure that's saved as a Photoshop document in the proper location. In this case, I'll just go ahead and save that. Now again, you're not handing in the Photoshop document. You're keeping this for your own use. Next thing I'm going to do is bring in some imagery that I have already set up outside. In this case, the logo, so I can begin building out my message. So it's a Photoshop document. So I can actually, since it's a Photoshop document, I can actually double click on it and it will open up automatically in Photoshop. If it's on a Photoshop document, remember, you're going to need to open it different. Now, in this case, it's already pre-named I can drag it right into my new composition and it retains its old name there. I'm going to go ahead and close that out. And there's my logo. It's much larger than I need it to be, but I'm not really sure how exactly large it's going to be in the end run, so I better just leave it there for the time being and decide how I'm going to compose this, my message. So I'm going to add some text. I'm going to turn off my logo so I don't get distracted too much. And go down and get my text tool. And up in my option bar here, I have option to change the text to a different text. In this case, I am going to use, for my message, to begin my message, I'm going to use Times New Roman. I have Times Century. I'll go with regular here. And then I'm going to also make sure that the color of my text is white. So I'll just type in 6 Fs there. Click OK. Also, make sure that the size of my text can actually fit within my environment. I'm going to say, let's go with 24 pixels just to see if it's going to actually fit. And also, before I start typing, I'm going to create a boundary box area so that I, again, move that up to that area. So I'm using up all that space that I'm allocated for. And then I'm going to simply go over to my text file where I have the text that I want all ready to go. And I'm just going to copy that, right-clicking on that, come back in here, and double-click on my T layer there, and Command V or Edit Paste, and there's my text. So it's a lot. I have a lot of room here. I could actually make that much bigger if I wanted to, and I'm going to. So I'm going to commit to that by getting to my Move tool. Then I'm going to open up my character panel and adjust the size of that so it's a lot bigger. Well, that's way too big. So it's still a bit too big. And so I can go back in here and change this maybe to a much smaller number. Okay, and also I can adjust other aspects of this. There's no reason not to just, you can put in a hard command if you like the size there. Let's see, one more, let's go up to 6, and again, I'll go back to 36 and see if that fits. Okay, and somewhere in between that, maybe 42. Okay, there, 42. Again, too small, okay. Finesse that in there. Another thing we can do is make sure that there we go. Okay, so, in fact, I can, a little bit of space there. Okay, another aspect here, I've got my logo that I have back there. I'm going to make space for that. I'm going to line it up with my word artistic. So I'm going to put in some space for my I have art there. I'll just type that over that. And then go to my logo here, make sure, I'm going to lock my text layer in there so I don't disrupt it. And my eye and edit free transform. If I hold down my shift key, and then I can click the hold and drag, so I can get it to be the size of that, so I can line it right up, maybe a little bit smaller, just for the aesthetic of it. Line that up there, and it's locked, so always read what your warning is. There's my lock, so I'm going to unlock that and bring that back to there. And so maybe I'll move I can move my eye a little bit over just to make count for that, so it's not behaving. So maybe the space there will be, I can actually add space there by putting in a shim, so to speak. There we go, that works. So now I've got my text. I'm going to collapse my character panel and my swatch panel for the time being. So I got my text and my nicely together. This is the point where we started to build our composition. And we have to add some graphics. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a new folder that I want to place my graphic into. I'm going to go ahead and name that photo. And notice there's something in it right at the moment. I also want to make sure that the image that I'm putting in here will only show up in here. If there's any extra bits and pieces that overlay, it won't be seen. By creating a mask on that group folder, I can ensure that only what's in this selected area, in this case, click, hold, and drag my marquee tool there, just all the way through there, and then go to the mask, create a mask. So you'll notice down that half of my image space here is allocated for my photo. So now I'm going to go find a photo to place in there. Now I predetermined that I thought I'd use this one first. So I'm going to open that one up with Photoshop. There it is. And I can click, hold, and drag over into my other image. And as long as that photo was open, it's inside there. Now it's actually inside the mask here. I'm going to close this off. And then again, once it's in there, I'm going to make sure I name that. I can actually edit free transform this independently within the space allocated. I'm going to create, so you can see if I hold down the shift key and drag, I can a little movement around here. I can now make sure that I'm going to look for the edge here so I don't see blue. I don't want to see blue in this case. I just want to see the image, and actually that image fits in pretty nicely, just like that. So I guess I misnamed that. SCA would be more appropriate. So now I have, I'm going to view, turn on, or well, I'll just leave it right there for the time being. I have my photo, my text, and my logo. And this is going to be creating my first frame. But I want all of these to be in a folder. I'm going to group these together. If I select and hold down the shift key, I can select all of these together. And from the flyout menu, I can select new group from layers and name this frame 1. Now all of these items are in one folder. The next bit is where it starts to get easy. As long as everything is set up in the beginning, the next few steps should snowball nicely. So what I'm going to do is duplicate this frame. I can do that again by making sure it's selected, going out to the flyout menu, and duplicate group. Change the name from 1 copy to 2. Click OK. I'm going to turn off the eyeball on the frame 1, and then click on the little arrow that expands frame 2, and do some editing. First thing I can do is change this graphic here. I'm going to select the graphic for the time being and go and find another image that would be good to go in there. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Photoshop, this one here. And again, I can drag it right in there. And as long as this layer is selected, it will drop right in above that one. I'm going to go ahead and close this file out here. I'm going to throw this one away, this layer, because that's redundant. I can make sure it's selected and then throw that away, being yes. And now I've got my next slide. I'm going to edit free transform and fit that in there. Another way to, on the fly, change the size of from the option bar is when free transform and type in a particular number. I'm going to go with 50% and see if that, well, actually that works out quite well. Okay, and then I'll just kind of, well, this will work. Okay. Maybe I adjust it so it's just that much of it. Okay, so as long as we maintain, we're not stretching bigger than its original size, in which case we are at 66, 68. So we're perfectly okay. I'm going to go ahead and commit to that, apply. And I need some content. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my second bit of content there. I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to go back to my text layer. I'm going to double click on that. Edit, and then edit, paste. And there's consulting. So this will be, I'll name that consulting. Let's command paste right in there. That's frame 2. Boom. And continue on. So copies. Another way to copy frame 2 is to drag it down to the new layer. Icon, change frame number to 3, and go back over, grab some more text, copy. Again, get my text tool. I can actually select consulting, edit, paste. There's design. Now I need a image that correlates with design. This one, well, actually this one does. Let's see, we'll go with that. Open Photoshop. Get my move tool, drop that puppy right in there. If I double click on that, I can paste in the word design. I get rid of the previous image. Close this one out too. And edit free transform. Edit free transform and shrink that down to show what works. That's frame 3. And I'm going to add frame 4 by simply dragging that down. And the whole process. So signage. Command copy. Command V, signage. Get my move tool, grab something that works for signage. Oh, this one. Again, drag that right back into there. Make sure that's in the Photoshop photo box. I'm going to throw away design. Command V for signage. Again, throw away that guy there. And place this in so that it's works for signage. Again, Command T, edit free transform. And type in, let's see, let's go with 70. That's okay, there you go. Position that inside of frame 4. But I have one more I need to put in the, so I'll create one more frame for frame 5. And it's easy enough to do that. And again, name that 5. Open that up, get the last bit of text, copy, double click on that, paste that right in there, Command V, there's art dart, and again, one more bit of text, a graphic, drag that in there, position it to work. Maybe that works just fine. And now I have frame 5. So from the if I turn off frame 5, turn on frame 1, turn on 2, 1, 3, 4, 5. Notice they're all sharing the same background there. Okay. Again, make sure you're saving. File, save. Yes. And Photoshop document. Now it's time to create your animated GIF, but this will be for another show. So go ahead and file, save, and